Hey all, it's Michael Laxer, the Left Chapter editor, coming to you from Toronto on March 24th. After the events of the last 24 hours, I gotta ask if there is literally anyone left anywhere who's not either one of his officials or a most demented member of the MAGA cult who still believes a single word that Donald Trump has to say about the U.S. and Israeli war on Iran. On Monday, of course, Trump announced that apparently the United States and Iran were in talks. Now, the Iranians immediately dismissed this. They said this was completely false. And interestingly, they said that in fact the announcement that they were in talks had been done by Trump simply to manipulate various markets. And, there is actually some truth that that's true. If you look at Common Dreams, Jake Johnson in Common Dreams, in an article today, they noted that just minutes before U.S. President Donald Trump momentarily boosted the stock market and sent oil prices tumbling with his disputed Monday announcement of peace talks with Iran, unknown traders loaded up on positions that allowed them to profit from the resulting movement in equities and commodities. According to the Financial Times, roughly 6,200 Brent and West Texas Intermediate futures contracts changed hands between 6:49 a.m. and 6:50 a.m. New York time on Monday, just a quarter of an hour ahead of the U.S. president's post on Truth Social that there had in recent days been productive conversations with Tehran to end the war in Iran. And the Financial Times added that the notional value of these trades was $580 million. Now, of course, that could be a coincidence. It's a pretty remarkable coincidence, if it is one. Going past the fact that Iran has completely rejected the idea that there were any talks going on, that didn't stop Trump from going on today, continuing today. First off, saying in his usual hyperbolic way that he saying that talks to end the war on Iran are ongoing, and claiming that Tehran wants to make a deal so badly. This is typical Trump bullshit. And in addition to this, you have the situation where Trump, after saying that the negotiations are ongoing, said that the U.S. has won the war in Iran. I'm saying this again. And saying that Iran has agreed to the U.S.'s primary request that it is never to have a nuclear weapon, something that Iran, by the way, of course, had already agreed to prior to the war. But then having said, and all of this is reported in Al Jazeera today, by the way, after saying that the two sides are still talking, after saying that they've won the war, he then still says that the two sides are still talking. And then he sort of says, I think we are going to end it, but I can't tell you for sure. He then, of course, trying to claim that the United States has continued to achieve its objectives in Iran. He said that one of the primary goals, other than preventing them from developing the nuclear weapon that they were not developing, was to achieve regime change in Iran. And now he's saying that this has in fact happened because it is no longer the leaders who were there before. Many of them have been murdered by the United States or Israel, and so that means that the regime that was there is no longer there. Um, but that's sort of like arguing that the water droplets that are in the Mississippi at any given point are not this that it's not the Mississippi anymore 15 minutes later or something. I mean, it's moronic because obviously the regime is still in place in Iran. It's just being headed by different people. Um, but he didn't stop there because, of course, predictably, why would he stop? Um, he's saying that he then says, telling reporters in the Oval Office that Vice President J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, and Steve Witkoff, along with his son-in-law Jared Kushner, were involved in the negotiations right now with Iran. I mean, you cannot imagine a greater collection of half-wits than this bunch, who are allegedly leading the U.S. negotiations with Iran that we all know are definitely happening. Um, at any rate, this, as each day passes, of course, this whole thing gets more and more farcical. And as after all of these different comments made by Trump today, in his usual rambling and contradicting, incoherent way, there's also a report that's come out that Washington sent Iran a 15-point plan aimed at ending the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. And this was reported by the New York Times, saying that the plan was delivered by way of Pakistan. But of course, if that's true, that would indicate that talks with Iran are not ongoing, but rather that the United States sent a plan to end the war to Iran, and that this was sort of a unilateral move, and how it involved his collection from the Trump clown show, is entirely unclear. But I think the important point in bringing these things up and talking about this at all is to note that not only the markets wait with bated breath or hang on on every word that Trump says, understandably, since he's the president of the United States, but much more problematically and uncritically, so does the U.S. and Western mainstream media. And it amazes, it never ceases to amaze that given the man's track record of lying and of complete and utter statements that are complete and utter bullshit, that these things are not reported on far more critically. Is Iran in negotiations with the United States? Well, they say they're not. The war is still happening. 3,800 American troops, or 3,000 troops, I should say, from the 82nd Airborne are being deployed to the Middle East. There's no real indication that anything he said is true at all. The only thing that it indicates, and as we touched on this in a previous video, is that Trump is desperate for an off-ramp. He was obviously anticipating a very rapid victory. He's now trying to claim that goals that have clearly not been achieved have been achieved, or that a goal that was achieved prior to the war has now been achieved again. And all that you can say looking at this is that you simply cannot believe a single word coming out of his mouth or his administration's mouth. And this has been true on virtually every policy point, on virtually everything that they've been saying from the day he was reelected. And nowhere is it more true than in the fog of war surrounding this horrific ongoing U.S. and Israeli aggression against the state of Iran and the people of Iran. Um, at any rate, I guess we'll see what tomorrow brings. I guess we'll see what new fantasy fictions Trump is peddling then. I guess we'll see if anyone else somehow seems to magically profit from them. Uh, wishing you all the best, comrades and friends. We'll talk again soon.